Yeah, sorry about that, Zar. But yeah. Marlow versus Zar, baby ZarZrakk, best of 5. Let's do this. Good luck to both players. Very interested to see how this one will turn out. What's up with the camera? There we go. We are off. Zar got that checkpoint first try. Marlow struggling a little. So Zar a very small lead, but Marlow already made it. Both players on checkpoint 2 right now. Probably feeling the nerves a little bit, both players. Which is to be expected, of course. Oh, Zar did not get the checkpoint there. Marlow did, so Marlow onto the climb. Zar on the final part right now. And nails the checkpoint. So Zar in the lead again. Marlow struggling a little, but looking good. Can he nail the final part? No problem. So both players on the same checkpoint again. So struggling a little with this jump. Marlow getting it first try. Zar quickly responds. Both players nailing the overhang. Zar the first one to climb the wall, but Marlow right behind him. Ooh, Zar just coming up short there. Can he Spider-Man it? He can. Well done, Zar. Marlow right behind him. Can he do the final part? He can. Zar got that difficult checkpoint almost first try. We will see players struggle a little here. Marlow, the first one to get it. Also nailed that second part. Meanwhile, Zar climbing. Should have this in the back. And he does. So well done by both players there. That's probably the trickiest checkpoint apart from the overhang. Marlow, a small lead over Zar right now. Nailing that checkpoint. Into the fender. She does not get first try. Losing grip with the back wheel there. Loses a bit of time. Not a major issue, of course. Zar, meanwhile, still struggling on this barrel checkpoint. Setting himself up for this final jump. Can he control the throttle? He can, so well done, Zar there. Marlow, meanwhile, stuck the fender. Is he going for the checkpoint grab? Tried to slow throttle it, which put him back to the very beginning of the checkpoint. So Zar caught up with him. Has trouble nailing that fender though. Marlow getting it. Can he do this the second time around? Looking good. Just jump over the barrels. Well done, Marlow. So Marlow with a 1 checkpoint lead right now. Into the high speed bounce, which he gets first try, so well done there. Almost at the overhang, CP, which might cause him some issues. Zar has shown us in the past that he has no issues with that checkpoint on both those runs. Marlow struggling with the throttle a little here, but eventually gets it. A few stationaries to set himself up. Taking his time right now. Ooh. Zar meanwhile catching up though. This is the determined checkpoint with the overhang and the bomb. Can Marlowe do this first try? He cannot. Zar almost there. Marlowe trying his best, not quite getting there. Zar onto the checkpoint right now. Marlowe got it. So Zar needs to get this pretty quickly. Marlowe, 2 checkpoints in front right now. Zar meanwhile struggling on that overhang, which he didn't do in the other matchup between him and I think it was ZarZrakk, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, almost hitting the bomb there. Zar got it meanwhile, so not far apart. Anything can still happen. It is a long track, of course. Marlowe struggling a little with the brake grounds there. Zar meanwhile slowly catching up. Marlowe has to get a move on because Zar is coming. He got it. So still 1 checkpoint in front for Marlowe, but Zar caught up a little. Marlowe meanwhile going for this back wheel bounce into the fender, which means he cannot do the next part in one go, but Marlowe is very good. Ooh, lost grip there. So both riders on the same checkpoint right now. It's getting close. Marlowe setting himself up. Can he nail it? Ooh, he got the checkpoint though. So Marlowe almost on the last checkpoint. He just needs to find the grip on the back wheel, which he does. Small jump. Ooh, did he get the checkpoint? He did not. So Zar and Marlowe both on the same checkpoint again. Zar can. Nicely done there. Whoever gets this back wheel bounce first will win this heat. Ooh, Zar, he got it. So Zar wins the first heat over Marlowe. That was pretty damn close. So 1-0 to the Belgian rider. GG to Zar. There are, of course, 4 heats left, so Marlowe has time to come back. So heat 2. Marlowe lost grip, and Zar got it. Marlowe following quickly after. Ooh, not quite making that. Zar with a pretty lucky save there, just scraping that bomb with his back wheel. Marlowe already caught up with him. So both players on this tricky climb. Probably the other player's ghost will interfere a little, but both players will surely manage that. Marlowe, the first one to get his back wheel up there. Can he nail the final part? He can. So Marlowe, 1 checkpoint lead over Zar right now. Nicely done there, first try. Nice bit of prepping there. Showing us some decent throttle control right there. Can he get this first try? He can. Marlowe building up his lead very slowly. There are still a couple of tricky checkpoints, including this one. I'm sure Zar will know that as well. He will take his time to make sure he will conquer these obstacles. And just hope that Marlow loses time somewhere. Marlow now passing that tricky checkpoint. Zar just starting it. Let's see how he does. Zar struggling as well. Marlow meanwhile on the end of the next checkpoint. Needs a bit of throttle control there. He nails it. Zar already passed it. Making quick work of that. He got there faster than Marlow did, so... Ooh, just lost grip there. And he got the checkpoint. It was a smart play by Marlow there. He knew he wasn't gonna make it, so he just front flipped to grab that checkpoint. He's building his lead quite fast now. It is a high-speed checkpoint, of course, so the lead at the top might be a little distorted, but Zar only now just coming up on the fender. Marlow meanwhile going for the high-speed bounce. So still both players stuck on their checkpoints right now, but Marlow passing it. Can he nail the final parts? Of course he can. And Marlow with quite a lead right now. He just needs to calm his nerves a little and just take it checkpoint by checkpoint. Do not make any silly mistakes. Consistency is key right now for Marlow. It all depends on this overhang. If he can get here in 5 or 6 attempts max, he will have it in the bag, I think, but you never know with that overhang. Zar coming up to the high-speed bounce. And as suspected, Marlow struggling on the overhang. It's not an easy checkpoint, of course. Everybody knows that infamous checkpoint. So many people timed out on that one. So Zar, all the time in the world to make a comeback, because Marlow is still struggling on this. He's trying, but he can't seem to get his front wheel far enough. This looks good. So Marlow got it. And Zar just coming up to it now. Let's see how Zar does with his first try at the overhang. Catching the bomb there. Marlow went for the checkpoint grab, I think. Which is, of course, a viable strat. Marlow built quite a lead right now. Zar is still on the overhang right now. He's trying his best. He uses the same strat that he did in his match in the semis, and he gets it. So it might not be a bad idea to use that one in the following heats. Marlow steadying himself right there. Did not want to go for that first go. Got the checkpoint there. A smart idea. So second to last for Marlow now. Zar meanwhile climbing the wall. So if Marlow can get this back wheel hop onto the front wheel right, and he will have this heat in the bag. And we have a match. This looks good. Front flip. Nicely done there. Doesn't want to get trolled by the meteor though. Not sure where it was, so he took his time. Very smart idea there. So 1-1. This is of course a best of 5, so we have 3 heats max coming up. The the best of 5 has reduced to a best of 3. GG to Marlow there. So heat 3. Both players have shown their capabilities and their skills, so both players know exactly what to expect from the other one. I think they already knew beforehand as well. Like, so just not catching that edge of the checkpoint there. Could have had a 1 checkpoint lead over Marlow there, but ooh, Zar not getting the checkpoint. So Marlow again, the first one to try this climb. Zar, oh, second time he hits the bomb there. So Marlow can steady himself because Zar seems to be experiencing some nerves right there. What he got there? Will he go for the checkpoint? No way. Ooh, Marlow very close there on the front wheel. So Zar passing Marlow there. And he will be the first one to attempt checkpoint number 3. Marlow already right behind him. Zar the first one to pass it. Will he have the twitchy finger on this throttle part? Looks good. Second part. No problem at all for the Belgian rider. So both players looking strong, but also quite vulnerable on some parts. So it's maybe anyone's guess who's gonna win this final. Because both players pretty close to each other. Zar got that difficult checkpoint and Marlow just arriving there now, so can Marlow do it as well? Looking good. Will he get it? Oh, it's close, but he got it. Well done, Marlow. So riders still pretty close to each other. This climb can be tricky as well. Sometimes hard to get the grip. Luckily there is a checkpoint there for you to grab. If you see that you messed up on the throttle there, you can just quickly front flip and grab the checkpoint. That's what Zar did, and that's exactly what Marlow did as well in his previous heat. But Zar built up quite a nice lead right now. He is struggling a little with his throttle on this part, but will be no problem. Already on to the next one. Let's jump. She nails, and then the final barrel. It should not offer any problems for Zar, and it didn't. So onto the overhang now. This will be crucial. Can Zar get this in a quick enough time so Marlow has no chance of catching up? He's trying the same strat as he used in the semifinals, as you can see. He's trying to hover his front wheel over that little beam and then flapping as hard as he can. But he's not quite getting it, and Marlow already arriving on that checkpoint. So both riders on the same checkpoint now. Zar is having issues with this. He's gonna hit the bomb maybe? Nope. So Marlow, will see him struggling, which will give Marlow some confidence. And look at that, holy shit. First try. Zar, oh, not quite making it. So Marlow has put a nail in Zar's coffin right now. In this heat at least. Because it's not a nice feeling when you are struggling on a checkpoint and you have built up such a nice lead and then the other rider just comes barreling down and passing that checkpoint first go. Zar made it though, so he's still got a shot at this. He just needs to be very consistent on these next checkpoints. Marlow on the last one. Ooh, almost nailed that first try. He's struggling a little, so we got it. So Marlow wins heat number 3 with a 2-1 lead over Zar. It was that overhang checkpoint that kind of ruins Zar's run there, but it can happen on this track, man. We all know that overhang, so Zar needs to win the next 2 if he wants to win the tournament. Marlow 1 heat away from victory. GG. So heat number 4. Marlow, the first one to get it. He will have gained some confidence with this last heat, of course. He was far behind and he made the comeback. So Marlow looking strong right now. Zar right behind him though. Zar is not giving up that easily. He's the first one to arrive at this checkpoint. Small overhang, which is practice for, of course, the big overhang. Getting that first try. Slow climbing, he gets it. Marlow right behind him. Now this part. Ooh, this looks good. Will he pass this first try? Nicely done there by Zar. Tricky checkpoint there, got first try. I'm expecting Marlow to at least fault once or twice there, so he will have a shot at creating a big lead for himself. Because Marlow only just now arriving at this tricky checkpoint. Will he do this first try? He won't. So nice piece of control there into the fender, which he gets first try as well. So it's looking good for our Belgian rider at the moment. Got past those bumps first try as well. Marlow passed the tricky checkpoint, but he's still stuck on that barrel. High speed bounce now, which can be tricky as well. Zar with a big lead right now over Marlow. Onto the overhang checkpoint. Now, will he do better in this heat? Got his back wheel on the bomb there. No major issue, of course, because he has quite a nice lead. But he can't afford too many mistakes because Marlow has shown in the previous heat that he is capable of doing a nice comeback. So Marlow is struggling on the high-speed bounce though. So is Zar. Zar is struggling on this tire. Got past it, now he just needs to nail this. This looks good, same strat as the semis. Yeah, that's a very consistent way of passing that checkpoint. So Zar passed the most difficult one. Marlow hasn't even started that checkpoint yet. But he is now. Zar only one checkpoint ahead. He goes for the checkpoint grab, which is a very smart idea, of course. No point in wasting time there with Marlowe so close behind him. Ooh, tried to trap it. Can he get it? Nicely done there. Nice save. He has to keep his nerves under control though. Marlowe still struggling on the overhang. So it's looking good for Zar. He just needs to keep his calm. Marlowe past the overhang. Nice backflip. Well controlled there. Brake bounce checkpoint can be tricky as well. But I'm sure Zar will manage this one. Nicely done there. Into the slide. Marlowe, 2 checkpoints behind now. Zar is struggling with this one. This looks good. This looks very good. Well done there. Will he go for the checkpoint? Of course he will. So, final checkpoint for Zar now. Can he make it? 2-2. Marlowe is right behind him. He needs to nail this back wheel bounce. Marlowe tried to grab the checkpoint there and he got it. So he's very close to Zar right now. Marlowe even passing him there into the front flip. And oh my god, Marlowe with the 3-1. The comeback again by Marlowe. Unfortunately for Zar, he could not finish the 4th heat. But yeah, well done by Marlowe and Zar. Both riders showing their true class. But Marlowe was just a tad bit too strong on some checkpoints. Zar had heat number 4 in the bag. He just needed to nail that final bounce, but he couldn't quite make it. Marlowe got it first try. So congratulations to Marlowe. Marlowe wins 50 euros for his first place victory. Zar, of course, cashing out 30 euros for his second place. So well done by both riders. Also thank you to everyone involved in this tournament. We had some great matches. Thank you for the chat as well, for rooting them on. This is the last time I will update this bracket. Yeah, it was quite a nice tournament. For people who haven't seen all the matches, you can check out all the matches on the channel. Just go to videos and all the matches will be there for you to watch.